Good morning, traders. Chris Buss here with Traders Profit Compass with your morning look at markets for Tuesday, June 8th. It is 6:17 as I'm starting the video. And just as a friendly reminder, don't forget you can watch the video at 1.25x from your video player. That'll cut down the runtime. But I think this morning I'm going to be able to blast through fairly quickly. Not a lot of movement yesterday, and not a lot has changed technically on the charts. But first, let's take a look at futures. Equities are hugging around the flat line. Metals are down about 0.25 to 0.5%. Oil's down 0.66%. On the macro front today, pretty quiet as well. We've got Redbook at 9, and then the Jolt survey. And then we've got a 3-year bond auction at 1, and then tomorrow we've got a 10-year bond auction at 1 as well. So let's dive into SPY real quick. Yesterday, price just oscillated between the prior highs up here at 422.75 and this 421.50 level. I think, depending on how you're playing it, if you're playing it at all as an active trader, I think you're looking for long entries versus short. The only short entry I would consider trying would be a move into this gap below 420.50 and maybe get a gap fill down to 419. That seems like a reasonable trade to take. Otherwise, if I got a pull back into 421.50 or the top of the gap that holds, I would try to get long there and see if you can get a bounce and then a breakout. If price doesn't go down and just breaks out, from the open, I would get long there with a stop just below and see if we can get, a runner into blue sky country. So we'll wait and see if we get that move. Here it is on the 30-minute chart, just blowing up the levels for you. Here's that range between 421.50 and 422.75. Like I said, pick your spot depending on how price breaks out of the gate. If it comes down, you've got an opportunity here at 421.50. Comes down to the top of the gap, all the better. But I think that holds, and I think you get a bounce there. And of course, if it breaks to new highs right out of the gate, I would take that long as well. QQQs were really dormant yesterday. They were oscillating here, not doing a whole lot, and then we got a really strong candle at the end of the day. What I really want to see on the Qs is for price to take out this 337. That lines up with this breakdown candle from back here in early May. If price can take that out, then I think there's a runway up to 339.50, 340, and then most likely 342 up here at these highs. But price hasn't done it yet. So I want to see that happen. And if it does, I would be a buyer there at 337 on that breakout. Other places to try and get long, a back touch of 334.50 and or 332 if price came all the way back here to the top of the gap. Here's the 30-minute chart. I had a resistance level here on this chart. It's probably there on the 2-hour chart as well, just not as clearly. But anyways, price took that out. Now, the first target is 337 like we just discussed. But we got that gap and go move. And then we got some late follow through yesterday afternoon. So that all looks positive. We've got PPO working on a bull cross here, and we've got RSI moving into the bullish regime up here above 50. So that looks constructive. Again, I would be looking for long entries and having that be my bias per se, but keep being flexible enough to say, okay, if levels start breaking, you can jump in with tactical shorts here and there, and then just be ready to cover quickly as price comes into support. IWM had a nice day yesterday. Just broke higher out of the gate and really finished right on near the highs. This morning we're here in the middle of the range, right around 230. I think you need to get a little pullback into 229 or get a breakout above 231.52 to really, grab an objective level. But it looks like this is going higher. As I said, I think the the mega level on IWM is 225.50. I think as long as it holds that, there's an upward bias. If it loses that level, 225.50, then I would be a lot more cautious on the long side. You don't want to give back this breakout and make it look fake, and that's what it would look like if it came back into this big trading range. Here on the 30-minute chart, I've got a little plateau marked across the highs. I think if you're active and you break the highs from yesterday, you can buy it right there with a stop just below and see how far you can get. If there's weakness on the open, back in here to 229.25, I would be a buyer there as well. And then back to 227.75, I would try to be a buyer there as well. Notice the indicators solidly above the 50, keeping RSI in its bullish regime, and so too is PPO, just hanging out in the bullish regime. Notice on all these PPO resets, see how they reset at the 0 line and then turn back up. Here was another one, came down, reset, ready for the next upcycle. And you'll notice that, as you do your charting, when price is in a nice uptrend, you'll get these momentum rollovers that really won't affect price that dramatically, but it'll reset momentum back at the 0 line. And then once you get that bull cross, then you can expect higher prices from there. If you're new to the channel and like the analysis, please hit the subscribe button and the alarm bell. I'd really appreciate it. That way, every time I publish, you'll get notification that there's content waiting for you. And by all means, go over and visit the website. This morning, I've got 4 or 5 trade ideas that I'm not going to cover here on the video. I have the static charts there, and I have the targets and the annotated charts. And I think there's some really nice setups there. Most of them are in the cannabis space, which looks like it's heating up again under the radar. So please check out the blog site. And for those of you that have been with me for a while, thank you so much for sticking with me. Do your best to help me broaden my audience with a retweet, a post in your Facebook room, wherever you hang out, wherever you think traders might benefit from the work. I'd really appreciate that. So Facebook, we talked about the potential yesterday for a breakout to all-time highs. We got that. That was a great place to stay long. So now we're in blue sky. Stay long. Trail up your stop. If you're not in, and for some reason there's a back test of 332, I'd be a buyer there. That's a common move. I don't know if you're going to get it this time. Looks like a strong breakout. But if it comes back to 332, be ready. Otherwise, if you're already in, stay long. You're up almost $5 already. Maybe 450, something like that. So that's a good start to that trade. Apple showing a little signs of life late in the day, but as we've been talking about, not showing a lot of power. Number one objective is to get above 126.50, and then this 128 has been a major wall for price because there's moving averages on the daily that are above, and those are going to act as resistance until price can power through. So you're welcome to trade these ranges if you care to, but for longer term traders that want to get long for a swing, I think you got to get price above 128, and then I think you've got more of a legitimate chance to have Apple make a more substantial move. Tesla came down in below this 595 and then broke back above late in the day. So continue to use 595 as your pivot. I think this morning here, if it can break this midline of this down channel, you've got an opportunity to get 625, 630, and possibly even 640 if the market is strong. But to make real progress, you got to take out 640 and then look for 670. So grinding through a lot of overhead resistance here for Tesla. Maybe slow going. If you're trading it, don't get frustrated. If you're getting frustrated because it's not doing what you want it to do and you can't be patient, or you don't have the time on your options to be patient, just set it aside and set yourself an alarm where you'd want to re-engage with the stock. There's no sense beating yourself to death in, $4 moves on a $600 stock for days. It's hard to make money that way. Microsoft had a really nice day yesterday. We talked about breaking out above this 252 area, then targeting 253, and then coming up here towards this $6 gap that starts at 256. And the thing that was nice about this, if you caught it, if you were focused on it, price opened right in here around 251. And you got a quick move down to 250 that stopped on a dime. That was a well-defined level that we had marked. That was your Johnny on the spot buy level, because you could have gotten long at support with a stop just below, and then the rest of the day just sat back and watched it grind away for a nice win. Now your second opportunity was a break above these highs here at 251.80. If you bought there, I continue to stay long as well. So now the target is 256. And I would be cautious if we came back and dropped below 252. I wouldn't want to see that if I was a Microsoft bull. So be ready with those levels. Amazon, really soggy, not doing anything at all. No change in the pivot level. 3,200 is the way I see it. Above is a long, below is a short. But lately, even going back in here, the intraday movement has been minimal. And just like I mentioned on what was it? Tesla. If you're trying to do the free 50 club, it just has not developed there as it had back in here almost every day, you got a $50 move. For the last, say, 10 days, haven't seen that volatility, and it's operating in a very narrow range. So, I mean, if you're sharp and you're making money, keep doing that. If you're getting frustrated that Amazon isn't moving and you're getting nicked up on your positions, just back away from the table for a while. Let Amazon do what it's going to do. Set yourself some alarms. Maybe now you're willing to say, you know what? I'm going to set an alarm at 32.50 and I'm going to set an alarm at 31.40. And when it gets to those levels, then I'll re-engage with the chart after, these gaps have been filled and it's chopped around, and maybe it picks a direction either lower or higher. But then I think you'd be more apt to be able to put on a more duration trade, or at a minimum, get those $50 daily moves that we got spoiled with, all back through here, that worked out so well for us. Google continues to look strong. I changed the chart a little bit. I put my patented box around this little flag area to show that consolidation. Now today, you get a break above 2400, you take it long, and you look for 2430. If you get a move back to the bottom of the box that holds, I would get long at 2380 and look for a move either back to the top of the box or a continuation move right on up to 2430. So I think that would be a good entry location. And the only thing that would turn this chart convincingly bearish would be if price fell down here, filled this gap, and then broke below. I think even if it comes down and fills this gap and holds, you're still going to have a bullish chart. The direction of the trend would be higher. Of course, that would be disappointing if you're long in here and you're hoping for a breakout and then it rolls over. But stepping back, Google's been a strong chart. And even in this, we had some turbulence back here, it really didn't give up much ground. So I think there's a bid under Google, and I would be looking for long ideas rather than short ideas on this name. Netflix, another frustrating one. Came down in this trading range from 492.50 to 482.50, then popped right above. I mean, personally, I'm not interested in getting long this thing until it can prove it can recapture 500. I mean, down in here, I think it's just a lot of chop and noise. By all means, if you're trading it well, continue to do that. I think the levels have worked out fine. It's just there hasn't been any real follow through, once it's gotten to the level. Here, you'd think it would come down and fill the bottom of the range, a place where you could get long. Well, it didn't do that. It reversed halfway, recaptured 500, but that was a head fake, back down. I mean, you're getting the picture. It's just been a lot of chop on this particular name. And so let's wrap it up with semiconductors. No change in the pivot. I still think 248.50 is your line in the sand for longs. Come back here, take it long, look for 253. Keeping in mind you've got a $2 gap below that would need to get filled eventually. But I think as long as price is above 248.50, I think the bulls are fine. So, again, a reminder, I've got 4 cannabis stocks for you on the blog site with annotated charts and some comments on trade ideas, places to set your alarms, where to look for a breakout. They're all bullish charts. I also got a chart there on IBB, the pharma ETF, where we had Biogen go bonkers yesterday on their Alzheimer's drug, plus a lot of other names going higher in sympathy. The way I like to play pharma most of the time is through the ETFs, either XBI or IBB. I think in this case, IBB is the one. So take a look at that on the blog site. Tell me what you think. And by all means, if you have certain stocks you're looking at, or have found other good trading vehicles, let me know and I'll integrate them into the charts going forward. I'd love to do that for you. Also, continue to be careful if you're trading the meme stocks. Don't do anything stupid. Use your technical skills and risk controls to make sure that if everything goes to hell in a handbasket, that the only thing that's going to happen is you lost the money you planned to lose anyways. You didn't get mortally wounded by having a lot of exposure out there on those wild names. So be smart about it. Good luck with it. And I will talk to you the next time. Maybe that'll be at noon if the market starts to move, or if I see anything substantial. I'll certainly put something together and send it your way. So until then, this has been Chris Buss with Trader's Profit Compass. Have a good trading day and talk to you next time.